All right, our topic today is converting degrees to radians, radians to degrees. That's what we're looking at today. Just a quick introduction about what degrees and radians are. They are ways to measure angles. You guys are very familiar with degrees, obviously. Like I can have an angle right here that I've drawn here, and we would say, hey, this is a 30-degree angle here, okay? But that's one way to measure an angle. We can also say, again, for example, we could say that that is like 1/6 pi or something like that is what we're going to do. So radians is what it is. So we're gonna introduce this idea of a radian, and then really what I need you guys to be able to do is go from degrees into radians and then radians into degrees. Radians are always in terms of pi, like these ones on the right. Degrees are always just whole numbers, or they can be decimals with the little degree symbol that we have right there as well. Essentially, if you guys really want to know, if we had a full circle and I had one radius that was rotating, it can rotate. For example, it could rotate this from this spot to this spot, and that would be a 30-degree angle. But we could also say that in terms of pi, a full rotation is 360 degrees, right? And if I go half a rotation, that is 180 degrees, okay? 180 is equivalent to pi radians, is what we call that. So that's like 3.14 radians, and obviously 360 would be 2 pi. This is good if we're going to actually use this 180. So 180 is equivalent to 1 pi. Again, that's like saying I'm rotating it 180 degrees, which is again 3.1415 radian. What a radian is, if you look at that a little bit closer, instead of actually saying 180 is the same thing as pi radians, is we take away all the units, and all we say is 1 radian. Again, if I took a radius, okay, so we'll just call that r length. And let's say I pulled that off and I rotated that thing. Again, let's say this is my radius, and let's say I bent it around the outside. No, that's not great drawing there. So this is r length. So if this is 5 inches, I'd go 5 inches this way, and then I'd connect it back here. This rotation would be 1 radian, is what it'd be. And again, it takes 3 and a little bit more to get all the way around, is what that's saying. So my conversion, if I ever want to convert from degrees to radians, all I'm going to do is I'm going to times this by pi over 180. And if I want to go from radians back to degrees, I'm going to times that by 180 over pi, and that will get me from one to the other. Again, a radian is when, like say, all these are of r length. All my radians, even this outside curve, would be of r length, okay? So again, our conversion to go from degrees, again, if I'm going from degrees to radians, I'm going to take my degree, and I'm going to times it by 180 over, or sorry, pi over 180. If I'm going from radians 2 degrees, I'm going to take my radians and I'm going to times it by 180 over pi, okay? So if I look at this one right here, I would take 60 and I'd times it by 180 over pi, but we want to leave it in terms of pi. So probably the best thing to do here would be to actually take this 60, okay, and divide it by 180 and simplify that, okay? When I simplify that, I get 1/3, and then I put the pi with it up here. So that would be just pi over 3, or 1 pi over 3. That would be equivalent to 60. It's the same thing. It's like saying that 1 foot is 12 inches. That's what that's saying. So 60 degrees is the same thing as pi over 3 radians. Okay, if I take 300, again, I'd go 300. I'd divide it by 180. Again, I would simplify that. It's going to give me 5 over 3. And then I throw that pi on the top with it, and that would be my radian measurements would be 5 pi over 3. Again, don't forget pi is actually that number, 3.1415, blah, 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 okay? If I have 135 degrees, again, I take that 135, and I would divide it by 180, and that is going to give me, again, 180. That's going to give me 3/4, and I put that pi up top, and that would be my radian measure. So this, again, these are all degrees to radians. If I go the other way, again, I'm going to times that by 180 over pi. This one's nice because if I'm timesing and I have something in the numerator and something in the denominator, they cancel each other out. So in this case, I'm going to go 2 times 180, which would give me 360. And then I divide that by 3, and that would give me 120. And that's now going to be in degrees now. So 2 pi over 3 is just 120 degrees for that. If I look at this next one, again, I would just times that by 180 over pi. That cancels out the pi there. I'd go 11 times 180. That gives me 1980, and then I'm going to divide that by 6 because that's what I had in the other one, and this would give me 330 degrees. That's what I'd have for this one. And then my last one, again, times by 180 over pi. Make sure you do that. Again, the pi's will cancel out there, and I have 7 times 180. Again, that's 1260, and I'm going to divide that by 4, and that will give me 315 is what I end up with on that one. So that's what I'd be. So that's what a radian is, and that's how you convert it. That's what we're looking for today, and you got to convert from one to the other, just ways to measure angles. We're going to use this a ton in this next unit. So it's been your Mouth Moment with Mommy. Adios.